Well, hello all my book babes. Welcome back to my channel. This is Courtney. Now, as you know, I like to do a little author spotlight, a little taste test every now and then to see what an author's working with, get a few of the books, read them, and you know, see what's going on. So that's what we're doing on this video. Now, T. Kingfisher herself lives in North Carolina, and she works as a writer and an illustrator, but she actually has a degree in anthropology. Pretty interesting. She knows about people, right? She has won many awards, including the Hugo Award and the Nebula Award. You know, those are the awards for sci-fi and fantasy. She is a best-selling author in the dark fantasy, romance fantasy, and the horror genre. So definitely very versatile. Now, she has over like 30 works in like short stories, comics, and novels, so definitely widespread. Now, T. Kingfisher, not sure what the T is for, is the pen name for books that are adult, but her real name is Ursula Vernon, and that is what she uses for her children's books and her comics. So definitely a few things to check out by her, but I stuck to the adult books because, you know, that's what I like to do. Now, in this particular video, I'm talking about, you know, 6 of her books. Now, excuse me, I previously read Nettle and Bone. This was the first book. Now, this is about a girl who is looking to save her sister from some abusive prince that she married, and she goes on this quest and meets a whole bunch of quirky characters. I really enjoyed the bone dog that ran away in the book, and I like that it is a complete fantasy, like epic fantasy, in such a short amount of space in this book. So I really did like that. Well done. And the second book that I read by T. Kingfisher is this, What Moves the Dead. Now, I will say this was definitely not my favorite book of hers. It's basically a sort of retelling of Edgar Allan Poe's Fall of the House of Usher. It basically follows Alex, who was asked by a friend to come visit another friend in this dilapidated mansion that is basically possessed by animals and a bunch of fungus. I just thought that it was really kind of abstract, a little bit just too weird for me, odd and creepy, and I will say a bit slow. So not my favorite, but it's a short book. And of the books that I read this particular month, now, The Hollow Places follows Sam and Simon, who discover some sort of portal to another dimension in the back of some sort of curiosities and taxidermy museum. And once they get lost, that they realize that it's a dangerous place and can have some serious implication if what's back there in this realm gets into their realm. So they're trying to find their way back and figure out what's going on. But there's a lot of references to the Chronicles of Narnia, which I've never read or seen, so that was definitely annoying to me. I did feel like at one point there was this irresponsible, in my opinion, endangerment of a cat, so I did not like that at all either. But overall, it was a good story. I just felt like at times I was a bit bored with the details and just not for me, but written very well. And another book I read is The House of Good Bones, and it is about Sarah, who temporarily goes to stay with her mother, who she realizes has lost a lot of weight and is just acting like really weird, like just really skittish and jumpy. So Sarah is scared for her and starts to investigate and comes up with all of these family secrets. I thought that it was creepy, especially when it comes to the stuff about the ladybugs. I won't go into it, but my skin is still crawling. But you talk about evil family members, and there's definitely a lot of boxed wine as well as talks about bugs in this book. But I did feel that it was a good mix of horror, creepiness, and humor. And another book I read was The Seventh Bride. Now, The Seventh Bride kind of gave me Bluebeard vibes, even though it wasn't exactly that. But basically, you have this young girl named Rhea who is hand-selected for some reason by this lord to come marry him. And she realizes when she gets to his manor that he already has 6 wives. So she's trying to figure out why exactly would this old dude, she's 15, want to marry me, and why does he need 7 wives? And you realize that there's some danger involved. But I thought it was absolutely hilarious and humorous. I thought that she was really brave, and it was just a really good fun time, and I enjoyed it. And the last book that I read by T. Kingfisher is Thornhedge. What does it say? Not all curses should be broken. And it's basically a fairy tale that is not told from the princess's side, but instead from some sort of shape-shifting human toad hybrid who's trying to keep people away from the tower from the princess. There's a wall of thorn, there's really honest knight who isn't really that great of a knight anyway, and a lonely toad. Overall, it was a really enjoyable short story. I did like all the biblical and the historical references that were sprinkled throughout the book, mostly at the beginning. And it was a unique story with a lot of, you know, subtle humor. And then you have, well, I didn't read this book because it's Shorty September, so I'm sticking to short books. But you have this book called The Twisted Ones, which is another horror book by T. Kingfisher. Maybe I'll get to it at some point. But overall, I did enjoy, or I do enjoy T. Kingfisher's writing. I think that she has a very minimalistic style, so she gets straight to just the details that you need to enjoy the story without a bunch of fluff. There's no spice, so definitely don't expect that. There's always a bunch of quirky characters and oddball situations, and there's always humor. And one thing also is there's animals I saw that are sprinkled throughout each and every book that play some sort of pivotal key role, and I do like that. So I do like her writing style, and I think it's a fun time. So if you're interested in some T. Kingfisher, I think that she is definitely worth an author to check out. So let me know if you've read any of her books and any others that you may recommend. So leave me some comments, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye, y'all.